What's up, everybody? It's Nick DiMartino. I'm back, and the big news of the day is Julio Jones to the Tampa Bay Bucks, because it wasn't bad enough that Tom Brady it was favored to win the AFC champion to win the NFC already. Now they're just heavier favorites than they were before. Um, this move is interesting, though not surprising, I would say. If you were to ask me, my guess would be that Tom Brady wanted Julio Jones. It seems like Tom Brady is acting as a sort of de facto GM, as a lot of star players often do act as. I think he wanted Julio Jones. He's obviously one of the star players in the league, and he wanted to go out and get him. The Bucks probably talked Brady out of retirement, and basically they're doing everything they can to keep Brady happy for a very limited amount of time when he's still willing to play or still able to play. And I think they want to win a championship like this year. That's literally what I think they're doing. I think that Tom Brady might plans on playing another year to maybe win a Super Bowl, and that's what the Bucks are doing. They are just trying to stack their receiving core to help Brady as much as possible. Now they have one of the best receiving cores in the league. They have Godwin, between Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, and Julio Jones, of course. It feels like, by the way, I don't know how important this is, but it feels like Julio Jones has been in the league since like the Prohibition. It feels like he's like 90 something years old, but he's really only 33. He's actually a lot younger than it feels like he is. Clearly, I'm not sure. I haven't seen any reports about how much the contract is. Not that it's really that important anyway. But it is very telling that they were only willing to sign Julio Jones for 1 year. It goes to show you that they're just trying to stack it all together and win a Super Bowl now. None of this rebuilding nonsense that most losing teams the sort of gospel that most losing teams tend to follow. That we got to rebuild and we'll be better in 5 years, and then they're not better in 5 years. The Bucks are going balls to the wall now. They're like, this year we have to win a championship. We have to win a Super Bowl this year. I do think it's very telling, though, that they would only sign Julio Jones for 1 year. I feel like just 5 years ago, that would have been unfathomable to sign Julio Jones for just 1 year. He's 33 years old, which I guess by wide receiver standards is very old, but good enough to trust him to be one of the best receivers, to be one of the best in your receiving core, at least. For this upcoming season, but it goes to show you that they clearly don't trust him long term. Like they're not willing to sign up for like a 35-year-old Julio Jones because they don't know how injury prone he's going to be, how good he's going to be. So just 1 year, they think they can just squeeze it all out in 1 year, and this might be like their last hurrah, because there's a very good chance that whether they win a Super Bowl or not, Brady's going to want to retire because he's going to be a year older. He's going to be probably, more likely to want to retire or not be able to play another year. So they don't know how long Brady is going to be available, and they don't know how long Julio Jones is still going to be Julio Jones that we know. So based on this, they're just trying to win right now. This, not just right now or soon, like this season, it seems like that they're trying to do. That seems to be their prerogative. But right now, between Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Julio Jones, and Russell Gage, that's a stacked receiving core for Tom Brady. And it just basically, they were lucky enough. They were lucky enough to get Brady to come back for another year. Brady retired. You don't just retire for no reason. He retired probably because he didn't want to go back. Not that he's unable to, but because he just didn't want to do it for another year. That's probably what happened. And then they talked him out of it, and that's probably part of the reason they got rid of Bruce Arians. I'm truly convinced of that. I don't believe for 1 second that they didn't fire Bruce Arians for any reason other than that Tom Brady didn't want him there. I think it's very clear to me. They've been doing everything they could to keep Brady happy since he's been on the team, and this is essentially the only reason. It looks like Brady has the best receiving core in the league so far. It's also good news, by the way, that Leonard Fournette is now back down. He lost weight, so I guess he's not as heavy as he used to be. But overall, this is really obviously great news for the Tampa Bay Bucks. It's not good news for me. I don't want to see Brady win again. But it looks like that they might end up winning a second title under Tom Brady within a span of of 3 years, like his third year on the team. It might be his last. Imagine if that happens. Imagine if Tom Brady ends up playing on the Bucks for a total of 3 seasons and wins 2 of them. That would just be past the age of 40. That would just be so unbelievable for his legacy and just for Bucks fans in general. I mean, 2 Super Bowls. I mean, they're not my pick to win. I'm not saying I think they're going to win, but clearly that's their prerogative by signing Julio Jones.